Yeah, and he deserves it. He does deserve it. He's a great footballer in prospect, and he makes some mistakes in his passing, but generally he's got a superb instinct for knowing where his teammates are. He gets the
Mm.
ball and he's very quick, smoothly directs it, usually the right pass, perfectly weighted in the path of one of his colleagues. So yeah, he thoroughly deserves that call up again. Yeah, he does, and I think probably we will lose him possibly next summer because teams already are kind of clambering around him like wasps around a jam jar. So sadly, again, Palace being something of a feeder club, um, it's a shame because on Sunday against Brighton, it wasn't a bad game, but as I say, the teams cancelled each other out. But I thought, well, who haven't we got from our cup final win? Well, Eze has gone. Gay wasn't playing, and he's going to go. And they're probably the two best players. You take them out of the team, yes, it's going to. Glasner still coaches well, and they've got one or two replacements which have got potential, but not to replace those two quality players. And it does feel a shame from a Palace point of view sometimes that we actually finally win a trophy or two trophies with the Community Shield, and then we have to lose key parts of the team. But that's the nature of a lower half Premier League team, which we have been really up to recently, and that's what you just have to deal with. So it's a shame, but yeah, Adam Morton. At the moment, he's our player, and I'm sure by the time he goes, he'll be up in the 80 or 90 million bracket, I should think.
Mm. Mm. Well, Palace is not doing this. They're not doing bad this season. They didn't do bad last season either, apart from the first half of last season. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I have hope for Palace. You know, you never know. Right. So Morgan Rogers of Aston Villa. What do we
Aston
make?
Villa, yeah. Again, I don't know an awful lot about him, to be honest, but when
No.
I've seen him playing at Palace, and I've watched him on TV. He's obviously of international quality. I mean, players tend not to get into the international squad if they're not really up to it. What I see, he's a key player at Villa. He's relied upon to do the business for them, which he does. He links well with Ollie Watkins and things like that. So yeah, I have no quibble with him being in the squad. He's what we want really.
Yeah.
Like Saka, I agree with you. Saka is, if perhaps apart from Kane, maybe the key forward because he's consistent in the way he attacks down that right wing and puts the fear of God into the defenders. So, and he scores goals as well. So
He
he's a
does.
great player to
He
have
does.
there.
Yeah. I like the way he cuts in Saka. Like
Yeah,
it's a bit like Mo Salah on a good day. He'll
on a
cut
good
in.
day.
Yeah. Now I was surprised Ollie Watkins wasn't there. I know we know he picked up an injury during the last game where he slammed his chin against his I think it was his feet against the post, didn't he?
Yeah, he
Um,
did. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I was surprised that it's being replaced by Morgan Rogers. Maybe it's perhaps Tuchel's just switching play into, switching
Mm.
players. Um, but if you had to choose between Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins, what would you go for?
I will probably go for Rogers, to be honest. I
Mm.
think he's more of the future for England, if you like. I'm not saying Ollie Watkins is old and past it because he isn't, and he's given good service before. Let's face it. In the last tournament, the last Euros, he did well. But I just think Rogers. But I just think Rogers has got more about him as a classy player there. So yeah, if I had to choose between the two in the England squad, I would say Rogers.
All right, okay, okay. Now the next one's Jude Bellingham. Now he's had a bit
Yeah,
of a
he's back.
um yeah, he's had a bit of yeah, he's back. But he's had a bit of a slight fallout. Not really pronounced fallout, but like an undertone of a kind of a fallout with the
Mm.
manager. Do you think that's been rectified now that he's back on the
Yeah, probably. I was reading one commentator the other day. I don't know whether it was a football writer, but somebody said that it will be good for England if there is a tension between Bellingham and Tuchel. Now, I'm not quite sure why they would say that,
Mm,
except that maybe Bellingham. I won't say had grown a bit too big for his boots, but he's gained a lot of very positive uh, reports on his ability. We all know that. I mean, in the Euros, he sort of I always saw it that he was a bit like a colossus in the England team. He sort of strode across the team and dragged them together, and an amazing performance in those games in the Euros. And I thought, well, he's going to be featuring in the team for years to come, which he probably will be.
mm,
But the interesting thing is, maybe what that story of Tuchel saying his mother said she found his attitude to the ref or the linesman. It was a female official, wasn't it? Female ref, I think. She found it repulsive. That was the word he used, which
mm,
subsequently, I don't think he took that back, but he did suggest that the word had been sort of lost in translation a bit, that perhaps that's not the word he would have used. On the other hand, he may just have been backpedaling a bit to give him an olive branch. But what I think that did, it may have shaken Bellingham to some degree to make him realise that he's not bigger than the team. Because maybe, yeah, he's got great ability, but you do get the impression from some of his antics with the officials in the past that he thinks he's above all that and he can do and say what he wants. Now, if someone is then saying, I think it's better for there to be a certain degree of tension between the manager and him, it means Bellingham is going to perhaps just be mindful. He can't afford to overstep the mark with officials and therefore and thereby maintain his quality as a player. Once a player starts to lose it a bit with the ref or the linesman or whatever, then it must negatively affect their game almost by definition, really, because they get
mm,
preoccupied with getting their own back or doing whatever. But by staying cool and calm, knowing his manager or his manager's mother might not like what he does to the what he says to the refs, particularly if they're a female ref or assistant ref, then it's going to keep him on his toes and make him a better, more self-disciplined footballer. So I can
mm,
understand why someone might think, yeah, let's keep attention there. Let's make sure Tuchel should make sure that Bellingham knows only too well he should not step out of line, and that discipline can only be good for him and for the team.
mm. Very true, very true. Now we are running low on time for this segment. So well, when we come back in the next segment, we're going to look at Crystal Palace because there was something about the fixtures. I think your manager was complaining about the
Yeah.
fixtures being yeah. So we're just going to explore that, and then we're going to look more into these players that are featuring for England and see what we can dig out about them. Um, right, uh, we join us on the next segment. I think that's the short, that's the short way to say it. We've got loads more to talk about. See you in a bit. See you on the other side.
See you in a minute.
All
Cheers,
right.
then.